From love letters that destroyed governments to silent worms that sabotaged countries, the most infamous computer viruses didn't just infect machines. They hacked into history. These are the most dangerous, most destructive, and most legendary computer viruses the world has ever seen. I Love You, 2000. Imagine waking up to find a love letter in your inbox from your crush, coworker, or boss. Millions couldn't resist. But when they opened the attachment named Love Letter for You, their computers were instantly infected. The I Love You virus spread like wildfire, wiping out personal files, music, and photos, then forwarding itself to every contact in the victim's address book. Governments, banks, and corporations across the globe were paralyzed. It was so devastating that it shut down the UK Parliament's email system. The creator, a young man in the Philippines, was never prosecuted because there were no laws against malware in the country at the time. Damage? Over $10 billion, and a massive global panic. WannaCry, 2017. In May 2017, hospitals in the UK suddenly couldn't access patient records. Doctors were locked out of medical systems, surgeries were canceled, and ambulances rerouted. It wasn't a system error. It was WannaCry, a ransomware worm exploiting a leaked NSA hacking tool called Eternal Blue. Within hours, it hit over 230,000 computers in 150 countries, demanding payment in Bitcoin to unlock files. FedEx, Nissan, and Deutsche Bahn were among the victims. Shockingly, it was a 22-year-old British security researcher who accidentally stopped the global attack by registering a domain name hidden in the virus's code. The attack was traced back to North Korea, and WannaCry changed the world's view of how dangerous digital warfare could be. They started as simple lines of code, but within hours, they brought corporations to their knees, crashed governments, and locked the world out of its own data. These weren't just viruses, they were digital weapons. Stuxnet, 2010. In a cyber attack that reads like a sci-fi thriller, Stuxnet was discovered in 2010, a virus so advanced it could cause real-world destruction. It didn't target your typical PC. Instead, it attacked Iran's nuclear centrifuges, silently making them spin out of control until they physically broke. The malware was allegedly developed by US and Israeli intelligence as a digital weapon to delay Iran's nuclear program. Stuxnet was the first known virus to cause actual mechanical damage using code, and it proved that cyber warfare wasn't just theoretical anymore. Entire nations could now be sabotaged without a single bullet fired. My Doom, 2004. One January day in 2004, the internet slowed down worldwide. Emails lagged, websites crashed, and tech companies scrambled. The culprit? My Doom, a mysterious email worm spreading faster than anything seen before. At its peak, it was responsible for 1 in every 12 emails sent globally. It launched crippling denial-of-service attacks on search engines and tech companies like Google and Microsoft. Despite its massive impact, no one knows who created it. The virus included a message simply stating, "I'm just doing my job, nothing personal, sorry." The financial fallout was estimated at $38 billion, making it one of the most expensive bugs in history. Code Red, 2001. The White House was nearly taken offline, not by a terrorist attack, but by a computer worm. Code Red exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft's web server software, defacing websites with the message, "Hacked by Chinese," and launching a DDoS attack on the White House website. The government had to change the IP address of whitehouse.gov to stop the attack. At one point, over 350,000 computers were infected in just 14 hours. Code Red was a wake-up call that even governments weren't safe, and that future wars might be fought through code instead of bombs. Melissa, 1999. Long before spam was common, Melissa showed the world how damaging one-word doc could be. Named after a Florida stripper, the virus came disguised as an email attachment with the subject, "Here is that document you asked for." Once opened, it triggered Microsoft Outlook to forward itself to the first 50 contacts in the user's address book, causing email servers to crash nationwide, including at Microsoft and the US Marine Corps. The creator, David Smith, was arrested and later helped the FBI track other cybercriminals. His virus caused $80 million in damages, and proved just how easily social engineering could manipulate even tech-savvy users. Zeus, Zbot, 2007. Imagine checking your bank account and realizing your money is gone, siphoned off without any trace. That was the terror spread by Zeus, a stealthy Trojan that silently logged keystrokes, stole passwords, and emptied bank accounts. Distributed through phishing emails and drive-by downloads, Zeus infected millions of computers, targeting big names like Amazon, Bank of America, and even the US government. It created a massive cybercrime empire, and its source code was eventually leaked, spawning dozens of Zeus-based variants still active today. It's one of the most infamous banking Trojans of all time, responsible for hundreds of millions in theft. Conficker, 2008. Conficker was the worm that refused to die. Despite Microsoft's efforts to patch the vulnerability, over 10 million computers remained infected. It created a botnet army capable of launching catastrophic attacks, and no one could figure out who was behind it. Microsoft offered a $250,000 reward for information on its creator. The worm disabled antivirus software, blocked access to security websites, and even changed system settings. Security researchers were horrified by how cleverly it avoided detection. Although it never caused a single major public attack, the sheer potential of Conficker made it one of the most feared viruses ever created. CryptoLocker, 2013. When CryptoLocker struck, it came without warning. It encrypted all the files on your computer and displayed a chilling message: pay in Bitcoin or lose everything. Victims included police departments, schools, and small businesses, many of whom paid the ransom out of desperation. It spread via infected email attachments, and once opened, there was no going back. What made CryptoLocker infamous was that it pioneered the modern ransomware boom, earning millions of dollars before being shut down by an international task force. It taught the world a harsh lesson. Your data could be held hostage, and sometimes paying the criminals seemed like the only option. Blaster, Love Song, 2003. You didn't even need to click anything. If your computer was connected to the internet in 2003 and unpatched, Blaster would find you. It exploited a vulnerability in Windows XP and forced your computer to reboot every minute, making it nearly impossible to fix. The virus left behind a haunting message. Billy Gates, why do you make this possible? A direct jab at Microsoft. It infected hundreds of thousands of PCs and launched a DDoS attack against Microsoft itself. The 18-year-old creator, Jeffrey Parson, was caught and sentenced to prison, but Blaster lived on, inspiring copycats and widespread fear. These viruses aren't just stories from the past. They're reminders of how vulnerable we all are in today's connected world. One wrong click, one infected file, and your personal data, finances, or even entire organizations can be at risk. That's a wrap on the most infamous computer viruses that shook the world. If you found this eye-opening, drop a like, subscribe, and share this with your friends, because everyone deserves to know the dangers lurking online and how to protect themselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay secure.